Your desire for freedom and success has to be stronger and surpass your fears. Okay? This is true when it comes to so many things in life, including traveling. Okay? If, fear, let's be honest, fear paralyzes people. You just have to see, here is the thing. I believe that courage is not the lack of fear. I believe courage is doing the thing you know you have to do, doing the right thing, in spite of you being fearful, in spite of you feeling fear. Okay? That's what I believe courage is. And I believe you can train yourself to be courageous, by exposing yourself more to things that, just give me a second, I want to put this down. By exposing yourself to things that make you feel scared, Fear is just a feeling. And it's a healthy feeling to have because it can, its purpose is to keep you alive most of the time, all right? Or that's what fear does. That's what its purpose is at its core, to keep you alive, all right? Or to keep the human race alive. But there are so many things nowadays that we fear that, they have no real justification. At the core is still that desire to, for not perseverance, to preserve, but it manifests in different ways, obviously, because most of us live in countries where there is peace. We don't lack the basic necessities, so it manifests in different ways. But I do think it's really important to do the things that we fear many times, okay, and in certain circumstances, of course. And if your desire for freedom and success, if fear surpasses that, you're going to be in the same place. You're going to be in the same place. So it's really important that you desire freedom and you desire success more than you're afraid, basically. Okay? And I'm going to give you a suggestion on how to tackle fear. And it's going to be specifically for traveling, all right? When I went to US, to Austin, Texas, I'm not even gonna say that. Or let me say it. When I went there, I essentially did not know anybody, okay? I did not know anybody. I did not have any friends that lived in the US. I did not know anybody in Austin. I did not know anybody in Texas. But I wanted to go. But I was afraid. And one day I decided, all right, let me see what am I afraid of. And I sat down with myself, got my phone essentially, opened the notes app, and started to write and brainstorm the worst thing within realistic parameters that could happen, right? And I'm saying realistic parameters because I did not put in that list, the plane might crash, okay? I did not thought about that necessarily. However, even with that, but I'm not gonna get into it, but even with that, it's not a justified type of fear, because you can stay, I don't know, you can get outside of your home, cross the street, and a truck will hit you and kill you. So that can happen. But I've wrote down on a notes app, actually, I did this on a notes app, what was it that I was afraid of? And what was the worst case scenario? So for me, what I came up with, I don't remember exactly the other things that I wrote down, but one of the things was, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna stay there for a week. I have accommodation for a week, and then maybe for one reason or another, I run out of money, I don't have no more money, or I don't find an accommodation, a place to stay, and I end up sleeping under a bridge for a week. Now that was one of the worst scenarios that I came up with, okay? And I thought, well, I definitely don't want that. But then I started thinking, why is that such a bad thing anyway? And I realized that there are so many people in this world who've been sleeping under a bridge and have been homeless for years, and they survived. They survived. And at the same time, on the same note, in fact, if this were to happen, it would have been an amazing story to tell. An amazing story to tell. Just imagine an Eastern European guy trying to go to America, live the American dream, ends up sleeping under a bridge for a week, but maybe he still achieves his dream. That's a hell of a story right there. That's a hell of a story. And at the same time, it might make you more relatable to more people, who've been on the bottom of the bottom. So really, think about it. If you're fearing, I don't know, traveling, that's, we're talking a lot about this on this channel. What is it that you're fearing? Maybe you fear that you quit your job and then you start traveling, but then what happens after that? Maybe what will the employer say, or other employers, when you will start applying for jobs again? What would they say? They see a 1 year gap in your resume, in your CV, or 2 year gap, right? Well, what would they say? That's a black spot. That's not a good thing. Well, I'm not a recruiter, but I would say many of them would actually applaud this. I'm pretty sure this is a word, or they will appreciate this, and they will have questions for you about this. It will make you a more interesting person. And many times we fear things that won't even happen. That's statistically true. We fear so many things that will not even happen. So most probably, in fact, you'll be able to get back maybe even your job, your previous job, or you'll be able to get another job, which will be probably even better than the previous one, and you'll enjoy it more, and probably will pay you better as well. I also I wanted to say that I also realized that when you take that leap of faith, you'll start getting answers. But if you don't, there's some things you will not have answers to until you do something about that. It's like Moses making the first step into the Red Sea, and then the sea splits apart. But he had to make that first step. He had to make that first step. You have to make that first step. And I'm telling you, in regards to traveling, the most difficult part is just leaving. Once you left, things get way easier, okay? That's the most difficult part. In fact, I would say the most difficult part is deciding, buying the ticket. Buying the ticket is difficult. Then, because first I would recommend you buy the ticket and then you search for a place to stay. But buying the ticket is difficult. It's difficult. But after you do that, okay, then it's way easier, trust me, because you're gonna be in that city or in that country, and you know already what are your options. This is where I'm gonna search for accommodation. It's way easier. It's like if I give you 20 options to choose from, you probably will be paralyzed. Paralysis by analysis, That's why also in marketing and in sales, it's not usually recommended to have a ton of options to give to people. Free options, usually it's the sweet spot, okay? You have free t-shirts, you have t-shirts that have free colors, for example. That's all your brand does. That's all what your company does. But if you give them too many options, they'll get paralyzed, they don't know what to choose, then they choose nothing. It's the same with you. Once you bought the ticket, okay, I'm gonna be in this city. Now I'm not gonna look all over the world, I'm looking only here. So it's gonna be easier. Then also letting your family know. That's a little difficult as well. But take the first steps and take it step by step, and you'll get the answers along the way. And that's the beauty about traveling. That's the beauty about so many other things. You cannot have all of the answers all at once. You cannot. You'll be in the same place. You have to sometimes take some risk. Many times, in fact, you have to take some risk. You have to have some faith. If you have no faith, forget about it. So that's it. Your desire for freedom, your desire for success has to be stronger than the feelings of fear. See you in the next video.